Welcome each and everyone in attendance to our council meeting as of March 17, 2020. At this time, we'll ask Councilman Box if he would give us our invocation, please.
Let's pray. Holy Father, we thank you for today, and we thank you for living in a free country where we can come together like this without fear of reprisal. Father, our hearts go out today for our country and all the people that are so severely affected by this disease. And Father, we just know that you still are in charge, and we trust in you, and we believe you will bring us to pass in accordance with your will. Be with us today as we deliberate, Father. May the things that we do and say here today be for the good of our community. We ask this prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilman Box. Next item on our agenda is to approve minutes for the previous meeting as minutes from March the 3rd and the 5th. I have a motion by Councilman Gavin. Second by Councilman Jones. Discussion. All in favor of the motion? It is unanimous. No opposers. Approved docket of claims in the amount of $805,053.89.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion by Councilman Box, second by Councilman Gavin. Discussion. All in favor of the motion? You abstain from voting on. We're doing the minutes now. Okay, but you abstain from voting on the docket of claims? Okay. But now, you know, our charter say you must vote. Yes, sir. Okay. So yay or nay? Okay. All right. We'll move on. All right. Confirmation of amendments to the agenda. The consent agenda. Under the consent agenda, do we have any additions or deletions to the consent agenda?
Mayor, I move we approve the consent agenda.
Okay. Have a motion by Councilman Gavin. Second by Councilman Jones. Discussion. All in favor of the motion? It is unanimous. No opposers. Okay, so we're deleting the presentations. Citizen input deleted. Under policy, unless the council have an objection, our COO not feeling good. You know, he had back surgery. So unless you have an objection, where A on the policy is discuss FEMA and Good News Columbus, let's move M and N up at the top, unless council have an objection. Okay. All right. And on the prospective litigation on the executive session, delete. Does the council have any additions or deletions to the policy agenda? If not, at this time, I entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilman Box, second by Councilman Beard. Discussion. All in favor of the motion? All right, it is unanimous. No opposers. General comment from the mayor and council. Council members, do you all have any comments that you'd like to make? If not, we're happy and elated to have with us this evening our base commander, Colonel Samantha Weeks, along with Chief Master Sergeant Rita Felton, and I'll let Wing Commander introduce your other guests that you have with us, and At this time, we'll hear from you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I brought with me my medical group commander, Colonel Betty Ann Fenn, and we are here.
Yeah, if you come on up here.
Absolutely, thank you. I brought with me, obviously myself, Public Affairs Director, as you discussed, Mr. Mayor, and then my medical group commander, Colonel Betty Ann Venth, and we are just here today to be part of your city council to understand actions in the situation of the city of Columbus with respect to coronavirus, as well as what we are doing and seeing on our installation with respect to it, so that we can synchronize our actions, understanding, and mitigation efforts to be in concert with you, because it's one community, one population, and we want to do our best along with you to minimize the spread or impact of coronavirus on the people of our community.
Okay. So, do you guys have anything, or you have a presentation that you want to present to the council?
I do not.
Okay.
But I would love to be a part of the conversation if the council allows us to as we continue to go along. We spent the last few days in countless meetings and teleconferences, from the military level to yesterday, the Installation Community Council of all the military installations within the state of Mississippi had a teleconference with Governor Reeves to ensure that we are in concert with each other across the state of Mississippi's military installations, and what we're seeing and how we're reacting and what we're doing.
Okay. So, have you all closed any areas on the base as of this time?
You are muted. You can mute or unmute yourself by pressing *6.
Talking about our health protection condition, we're currently in alpha, which means we're just taking some increased awareness and activities to ensure the safety of our population. That includes a very aggressive outreach campaign on education of what the disease is, what the symptoms are, to work with our medical professionals to determine if we need to have a COVID-19 test, as well as the personal hygiene, so that we can minimize any type of transmission of the disease into a new community such as Columbus, and based off of the one positive case that occurred yesterday in Monroe County, just to the north of us, we are looking at that and assessing whether we need to transition to health protection condition Bravo, which would have a little bit more increased awareness, such as today we've decided that we will make our food establishments on base takeout only, so that we are maximizing our social distancing as an on-base population. And we've discussed what type of authorities I have as the installation commander on the military personnel to limit them as this disease most likely ramps up and we go to higher levels of increased conditions and protection, to say that even if you're eating within the city of Columbus, we're going to mandate, if the city hasn't already, that it is takeout only. We have not done that at this time. We are looking at other indicators and triggers that would ramp up our requirements to ensure safety of our personnel. The 19th Air Force Commander, or the Air Education and Training Commander, which are my two bosses, have said that the mission of Columbus Air Force Base must continue and is mission essential to the Air Force as well as the national defense and security of our nation. So we are flying. We do have some stipulations on that, such as we are only flying from Columbus Air Force Base to another military installation at this time to, again, try to minimize exposure as well as maximize our social distancing ability to minimize disease transmission and spread.
Have you all limited y'all gathering at certain places?
We're going in accordance with the CDC guidance to the max extent possible, and we've talked about the fact that the president yesterday spoke about gatherings of 10, but the current CDC guidance still recommends 50, so we are sticking with 50 or less for the time being.
Council, do you have any questions?
You said you was in conversation with the governor yesterday?
Yes, sir.
And I've been getting a lot of phone calls and all
executive order today, mobilizing the Mississippi Air National Guard to assist with emergency management as well as medical testing. And that was the only thing that I've seen. He didn't actually discuss anything particular with us yesterday from his vantage point down. It was more for him to learn as to what is going on in the military installations across the state of Mississippi, to be informative to him.
Council, we have no.
Colonel, I'd just like to thank you for your service and just thank you for the outstanding job that you've done since you've been out there at the base. We got a great base and we feel a close affinity with y'all, and we just want you to know that if there's anything you need from our city council, I think everybody, the mayor and all, are willing to try and get it for you, whatever we can do. So just let us know.
Thank you very much, sir. I will say, sadly, we have had to cancel our air show in April. The Secretary of the Air Force for Public Affairs canceled all open houses through 15 May 2020, and so that will affect our ability to host one, which is sad, especially with all the planning that went in, but obviously very prudent actions to take since we're looking at hopefully achieving 20 to 25,000 people per day on our base.
Colonel,
Yes, sir.
thank you for your service. Mayor issued a statement yesterday, citizens of the city, I don't know if you're aware of that, not detailing some things that the city's responsible, like we're not having a gathering tonight open to the public and so forth. One of the things I thought of, though, that you may mention to young pilots and young people on the base, is they would come into the city in off hours, say on a weekend trip and so forth, to please social distance themselves from possibly some of the nightclubs or bars or something of that nature. Because I know that they're young people, it's something they're used to doing, but that's also a large gathering of people.
Absolutely it is, and that's one of the things that we discussed today and are looking at, is making a policy where my military members are precluded or prohibited by my action to do such things.
But I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
First, thank you for your service. My question is, since you do have military personnel that will only travel to other military facilities, someone in your military, in Columbus Air Force Base, does contract the virus, what will you do to give medical care for them? Will they be watching there on the base, or will they be expected to transport to our local hospital? Have you guys thought, or what would you do if you do have a breakout there on the air base?
So we'll take that in two parts. First, if we have a positive case, and then we'll evolve it to something that becomes, significant in numbers, and that is why I brought the medical group commander with me, because I'll allow her to answer that so I get it right.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for your time. So as the medical group commander, so if we have a case on base, it'll be all dependent on their symptoms, whether they need to be put into isolation on base. But we will report that positive through public health, just like we're obligated to do. And so their care will be based upon their symptoms. A positive test does not warrant inpatient care necessarily. It's all symptom-based. If that number grows, we certainly have been working with Baptist and trying to figure out the best plans as far as the patient flow from us to them. And so we have that relationship going as well.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, again, Colonel, proud to have you. We appreciate the partnership and appreciate you and your staff for being here. And what we'll recommend it, so for Joe, would you give Colonel a copy? Okay, he has a copy for you and each one of your staff. Okay? So again, thank you so much and proud to have you with us. Where's that noise coming from, Joe?
Somebody on the speaker is feeding.
Okay. All right. Okay, the other thing is that Councilman Gavin, you mentioned yesterday, and so it's just for discussion, bars, nightclubs. So what's the feeling of the council? It's just for discussion only.
large gathering of young people out in the community. Seems like, from what I've seen on the news reports, the younger people are sort of disregarding this threat a little bit more than us older people are. So I don't know, this thought came up, talked about possibly reducing our hours of operation during this emergency time of the bars. That's my thoughts. Not closing them, just simply reducing the time that they can stay open.
Are you referring to bars and nightclubs also?
Yes, sir.
So you talking restaurants too?
Well, most restaurants, I mean,
They got bars too.
I understand that. Most restaurants will close by 10 o'clock, though. The nightclubs and the real bars will stay open past 10 o'clock to 1. So if we cut that back, say from 1 to 10, I don't think it would affect any of the restaurants. The only thing it would affect would be the bars and the nightclubs. And that's where you have your large gathering of young people.
The only thing about the nightclubs, if you cut it back to 10, a lot of times, that's when
That's when they
most
get
of the
there.
people go out
That's
at
right.
10, a lot of the youth, younger people.
That's right, that's when they get there. You're right. That's just a thought.
So what if we just encourage them at the present time, you know, until further notice, is just try to limit it to, say, like 50? I mean, you just encouraging them, that's just encouraging them to try to stay under the 50.
I'm good with that. I just, you know,
I mean,
that's
just a thought, I don't know how everybody else.
Well, speaking of nightclubs, since I am the youngest person in here, people in my age range, they finally understand that this is real, and we really don't have nightclubs here, but the Princess, and the Princess is already like shut down his back part. So it's just the front of the bars, from my understanding, is what he has open now, and everything else is restaurants. But like I say, people my age, they you don't have to worry about them being out anymore. It's probably the younger people, the like 18, 21, 22, but they don't go out here in Columbus. They're in Stark Point, West
But you
Point.
do have 2 or 3 clubs though, don't you?
We don't have clubs in Columbus.
We don't. So what's the Elks Club?
Well, the Elks only open on when people have it booked. They don't open it
Okay,
every
but,
weekend.
okay. But, what about what is it, Flamingo, not the Flamingo, that's old school. What is it now? What is it now, Councilman
That's the
Jones?
only thing we got is the Elks.
Oh,
To your ball.
Yo
the
Bar,
legend. So what about the legend?
it was packed Sunday.
What you say now? Okay.
Them older people though. That's
Okay.
That's not the younger people. I was just speaking on the, you know, he put emphasis on younger.
Well, I think that if you're gonna do it to the nightclub, then you might as well do it to the restaurants and have takeout only, because, you know, if you cut the club down, or you know, you take all these precautions and they still go before 10 o'clock, then what are we doing?
So you're looking at what, Yo Bar,
No,
Applebee's,
I'm just saying,
Zachary's.
though, they still go before 10 o'clock, they still got the risk, the same risk that they have before 10 o'clock that they have after 10 o'clock.
They do, but typically the younger population doesn't leave home till about 10 o'clock. That's when they get to the bar between 10 and 11.
Yeah, but if you tell me that I can't
So-
close until you close at 10, then now I'm gonna move it up to 9.
And they
They'll have day
You know,
parties.
Right. If I'm gonna go get a drink or do whatever, I'm gonna go earlier.
I mean, the recommendation that the mayor gave yesterday was an awesome recommendation. You know, basically just use your personal senses that you have right now until we, as well as the government, figure out exactly what's going on. So
But we was just encouraging.
just encourage them to use.
Try to
their-
stay under the 50 limit.
Right.
So is everybody good with that?
And I think that's what we talked about yesterday.
Right.
I feel pretty sure if this thing progresses like it appears to be, that the governor will make a determination to close
Right.
bars and restaurants here within, and it's changing daily. And so I think we just, you know, do what you talked about and wait and see what the governor does, and then follow his decision along with the CDC, because they're pretty much jiving with what they're recommending. So, yeah, I would think we would just wait and do what you suggested with the,
With the bars and the nightclubs, just encouraged to stay below the 50, not to get over the 50 mark. Okay. Are we good with that?
Yes, sir.
All right,
I still think we should, if we don't act, I think we should have something in place. I mean, just in case it doesn't come down, I mean, as leaders here in the city, we need to have a game plan. If this happens, this is what we're gonna do. I mean, if you're gonna shut them down, then we know what we're gonna do. We don't have to meet again and start scrambling, how we're gonna respond to this. But we see the situation is getting worse. All I'm hearing is, it ain't getting better, not right now, it's gonna get worse. So all I'm saying is, we need to prepare for the worst. We're gonna do this, and we put our game plan in action, this is what we're gonna do. Then no matter what they do in the council, know what we're gonna do. Just sit down and talk about it.
okay, but
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
yeah, but what we did yesterday in my presentation, I just encouraged, like with the churches and all, I just encouraged, not, just say point blank is that this is what we require. And so that was just encouraging them and hopeful that they would follow the CDC and the governor request to stay below, not to get over the 50 mark. So I would hate at the present time right now is that to come up and then we vote and say that the bar's not supposed to have over 50, nightclub's not supposed to have over 50. I would just encourage the bars, the nightclubs, the restaurants, just not to exceed the 50 mark at the present time. I think that would be the most logical thing to do. That's just my thinking now, but it's up to the council.
If we get that case, what do we do then?
Say what now?
If we get a case of it in Columbus, where do we go from there? Like, what is-
Oh, yeah, if that's what you were saying, okay. Well, we know if that happened, then we really gonna have to step it up. Yeah, yeah. But at the present time, until that occurs, then I think if we just strongly encourage, I think we'll be on safe ground then. And then like what Councilman Box had just mentioned there, I think if it keep getting worse, which I think it will get worse before it get better, I'm quite sure that the governor gonna step in and come up with some harsher mandates.
And when he does that, we could call a special meeting and,
Yeah.
do whatever we need to do. I don't know that there's any action that we need to take once he puts out a, resolution or whatever he does, if they close. I don't know whether we would need to take any action or not, or whether that, do we, Jeff, or?
Well, that's just like he encouraged, before you answer, council, like the governor, encouraged the churches, close or, use drop boxes or, be below, not to get above the 50, but, there were some churches locally here that did close their doors for them, and there were others that did not. Yeah. Council, go ahead.
Most likely the governor, if he issues an executive order, will probably say the local unit of government has the power to do certain things, and he won't mandate that we do it, but he may even say local government's encouraged to do it, but it won't necessarily require it. I think the legislature, though, may very well enact something that would be mandatory. So between the governor and the legislature, I think that's what's going to happen at some point.
And that's just like Councilman Box, the governor issued an executive order this morning concerning employees that we'll have to discuss later on in our policy agenda. And I'm quite sure that's just like another House bill where Representative Chisholm, and I think the Senate's supposed to have voted on it this afternoon, is House Bill 1647, I believe. Yeah, concerning employees. So, but we'll discuss the other executive order later on in the agenda. All right, the last thing here is charter, the convention center. So I said to Mrs. Barner is that I would talk to the council, but I mean, if this is what we're requesting and encouraging our citizens to abide by, then with the charter, I think we need to do the same thing. So most people, especially like, have booked it out, especially when they have artists coming. Well, if they have artists, they pay X amount of money, so they want their money, they expect to, make money off of what they doing. So, and in fairness, consistency, I think it's probably the best thing that we can do now is just reimburse those people until further notice. Yes, ma'am.
Council, do you want to reimburse?
I would say if the council is in agreement with it, we'll start doing it immediately.
I've got 1,500.
Yeah.
Mayor, that would not include private functions, would it? Or would it, so like someone was having a wedding at Trotter, it would be private, they could be guests only, not open to the public. Would that include?
But still, it still is above the 50, though. Yeah, it's above the 50, so my suggestion would be, let's just be fair and consistent with it until further notice. And you've had, I've been talking to Ms. Bonner this morning. Ms. Bonner, you on the line? Is that there are some people that had booked it for concerts. So if they booked it for a concert, you had to pay an artist at least half of the price up front. So hopefully with that promoter, that they can get that artist to change the date there.
Hello?
Right, and as far as I think, one of the weird people that already had booked it for a wedding has already just canceled due to the situation and then asked that they be reimbursed.
That was
Even
my
with,
question, what we're gonna do, just public access, or somebody have private?
I would say you lead by example, so if we asking the restaurants and the business to strongly encouraging them to stay below the 50, I think we need to follow the lead by example. That's just my feeling. I don't know how the rest of the people.
She's on here now, Mayor.
Oh, that, Ms. Bonner,
I'm here, but I can barely hear you.
Okay.
can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, we're discussing the charter, and what I had
Right.
asked the council if we would just, rather than going through not to exceed the 50, is just go ahead on and reimburse the people until further notice. Would
Okay.
you agree? I said, would you agree,
Oh,
ma'am?
Mayor, I am so sorry, but I still can barely hear you all. It's like it's breaking in and out.
All right, can you hear me now?
I do.
Okay, thank you. I said what I had suggested to the council concerning the charter from a fairness and consistency standpoint is that with our bookings at the present time, since we asking the restaurant, the bars, and the clubs and all, not to exceed the 50 mark, it's rather than with the charter, it's just the people that want to cancel, just reimburse them their funds. Would you not agree?
I agree totally.
Okay. All right, do y'all have any questions for Ms. Barner? Council?
When they rent the charter, they have to get an additional insurance policy
Request
that
for
comes with it.
refunds.
That's with Strata and with Parks and Recreation.
And they can reschedule at a later date, is that correct?
They can reschedule at a later date.
Okay, but if they requesting that they want to cancel and get their proceeds back, then we give them that opportunity, is that correct?
That is correct.
Because I believe somewhere in that contract, it says that in emergency situations, we can cancel from the city standpoint. Is that not
It
correct?
does say that.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sir. And I've had several calls about that already, and I've already told them basically what the contract says. And I've reiterated that over and over again when people have signed the contract. So that is certainly true.
So are we in agreement, council?
Mayor, could I add something?
Yes, sir.
It might be wise, Ms., drawing a blank, Johnson.
Okay.
Vaughn, if you keep track of all these reimbursements from the date that the emergency was declared, because there's a possibility we can get some reimbursement. I don't know if we will or not, but it would be good to have that charted, so if and when we can make application, we have it readily available.
Mr. Mayor, you need a motion to get that in the minutes.
Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we allow refunds on the Trotter and Parks and Recreation for program fees for people that requested due to the emergency.
Okay, until further notice.
Until further notice.
Okay,
Second.
all right. So I have a second by Councilman Bach, a motion by Councilman Bach, second by Councilwoman Stewart. Discussion?
Would that include, like, park and recreation where they sign the kids up to play ball?
Yeah, I said Parks and Rec.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, did that answer your question? Okay, is there further discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion? Okay, all right, it's unanimous, no opposed. Okay, thank you, John. All right, under the reports, the way we'll do it, and we have the department heads on the line, is that if you look at the reports there from Chief Andrews to Ms. Vaughn, okay? But we want you to give your report, Ms. Vaughn. But besides Ms. Vaughn, do you all have, what y'all laughing at? But besides Ms. Vaughn, do you all have a question for anyone else that's on the list here, council member? Okay. If not, financial report.
Good evening.
Good evening.
City finances for the month of February 2020 were a combined total of $11,590, $11,590,149.16. General fund having $7,812,604.70, and special revenue having $3,777,544.46. General fund operating cash for the month of February were $3,799,481.61. Prior year was $2,584,553.50, which is $1,214,928.18 more than February 2019. Sales tax collection for the month was $717,384.84. This is a $734.62 decrease from prior year collection.
Question, council?
Now I have a question.
Yes, sir, Councilman Bach.
I think we all feel pretty sure that this disaster is gonna impact our budget for this year. Have you started to look at anything or to kind of figure out if there's any adjustments that we might need to make? Or is it too early for that yet?
I would say it's a little bit too early, but I will start looking into it next week depending on, what all we have presented before us.
I think the sales tax, Councilman Jones and I was discussing this last night, the sales tax probably gonna be up for the next month or so, because if you go in the stores, most of your racks are empty.
Well, I just want us to, be aware of what might happen.
Oh, yeah.
think
Oh,
it'll
I
have
agree.
impact
Yeah.
On anything, because it'll, probably decrease spending, within the city, so I don't think we really will be affected, budget wise.
Are there any other questions? All right, thank you. All right, M, discuss approve request for proclamation and resolution of state of emergency. Mr. Armstrong?
Yeah, Mayor, I want to mention on this, no action on board, like the system ID.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I'm totally out of toilet paper at home.
Don't tell it.
What I've got before y'all
Hopefully
is,
it
it's
isn't so.
amazing. It's the same thing we did a year ago. A local proclamation for existence of a local emergency and a resolution asking the governor to proclaim saying, basically a year later. What was done yesterday at the Emergency Management Association, y'all declared a proclamation of the existence of a local emergency. And everybody's signature is on here except Councilman Vickers and Joe, if I could get you to sign this, if you would, okay? What we've got to do today is, I'm asking you to pass a resolution requesting the governor to proclaim a state of emergency. And we'll have to do these at every council meeting. Y'all remember, just like we did last year, we have to just repeat it as long as it's in existence. And this says that we're asking that he proclaim a state of emergency. And for the city of Columbus, Joe Dillon will be our point of contact on this. And I need everybody's signature on here, but first I need a motion so to do, Mayor.
Council?
Mayor, I move we approve the proclamation resolution.
We have a motion by Councilman Gavin, second by Councilman Jones. Is there further discussion? Is a voice vote, Councilwoman Taylor?
Yes.
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 Okay. It is unanimous, no opposing.
Thank you, Mayor, for moving this up. I appreciate that.
All right,
Can you get this back?
all right, in, council, discuss approve emergency declaration from governor for administrative leave with pay.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, City Council. This morning, the Governor Reeves, he issued Executive Order number 1458. And without reading it verbatim from A to Z, paragraph 4 of the resolution prescribes that local units of government may grant employees administrative leave with pay for any one or more of the following reasons. A, the period of time the employee's employer has been closed in response to the COVID-19 virus. B, the period of time the employee's supervisor has determined the employee's duties are deemed non-essential during any period of time during a state of emergency. And C, period of time that the employee or member of their immediate household is placed in quarantine or isolation as a result of being diagnosed with COVID-19. And finally, D, other reasons as determined by the appointing authority in consultation with healthcare professional that are necessary to prevent the risk of possible transmission of COVID-19 within the employee's workplace. And the mayor asked me to draw up a resolution for adoption. And unfortunately, I did that and I sent it to City Hall, but I was under the impression it was being duplicated there. So I only brought one copy with me tonight. But it basically adopts the findings of Executive Order 1458 and authorizes the mayor and city council to grant paid administrative leave with pay for those same reasons that are set forth in the governor's executive order, with the exception that the executive order said the employee's supervisor, and I changed that, and of course you can leave it that way if you wish, but I proposed that it be the department head of the employee has determined the duties to be non-essential rather than whoever the supervisor is, which may be a lower level employee than a department head. So that's basically-
Question, council? All right, if not, Councilwoman, I need a motion in a second.
Yes, sir.
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilman Bach,
Second.
second by Councilman Gavin. Discussion? All right, Councilwoman Stewart?
Yes.
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 All right, it is unanimous, no opposers. All right, thank you. Okay. Discuss FEMA and Good News Columbus. Mr. Dillon.
I'll be very brief, Mayor and Council. Just one update. We're working with the Columbus Municipal School District to bring Wi-Fi access to students throughout the Columbus area. We started on that project with them today. We're working to bring it to about 8 or 9 different spots around town, utilizing our community centers and our parks in different areas. don't have anything definite to report, because we're still installing equipment even tonight. And so, we'll have an update for you later on.
But Joe, let me interrupt you. If you would, for the councilman's sake, explain where the setups will be at.
Yes, sir. What we've done-
Location.
Yes, sir. The locations that we're looking at would be the Sim Scott Park area. We're also looking at the Townsend Community Center, the East Columbus Gym, the
Sandfield Community Center,
Sandfield Community Center. I left my list over there, Mayor. And
the two housing authorities.
yes, sir, two housing authorities, and then also down by the Tennessee Williams area.
The Welcome Center
Welcome Center
on the lawn.
too. Right,
And also Sim Scott,
yes, sir.
the satellite, police office over there.
Yes, sir. And what they'll do is we're working with Cable One and Sparklight. They're helping us too. We're also looking at the Boys and Girls Club area. So it's a moving situation. We're just working on it now, but we hope by the end of this week to have all these operational in the partnership with the city and with the school district and with Sparklight and also Convention and Visitors Bureau too.
Will you have anything up North Columbus? I didn't know something like
Brandon School, central office is one location, Stokes Beard, Fairview, and Sales are the other locations.
I know I've got a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Right, they're gonna work to get them in some of their existing schools and put them outside. And just to be clear, we're not gonna open up the inside of the buildings because we think that's a bad idea. So we're putting them in areas where there's coverage, like awnings or pavilions, things like that. So people can drive up and use them, but, you know, unfortunately, we decided today, if we put people inside the building, you know, they could be like just put them in a school, so it'll all be done outside. That's our best idea that we could implement right now. But we'll have a complete list that we'll put out publicly. We're still working out the technical details on getting it all to work.
Mayor, may I add?
Yes, sir.
The Columbus Housing Authority Board of Commissioners met today, and they voted unanimously to join in the partnership if there's interest from
Yes, sir. Great.
from the
Thanks.
city and the school district, and to put some sort of Wi-Fi extending facilities in each of their housing projects, which there are like 5 of them.
That'd be great. Mayor, do I need to ask for a vote or a permission to partner with this together with them?
No.
That's okay. But we'll have you more details on it soon, but the equipment is even being installed tonight. That's all I got, Mayor. Council.
Thank you. All right, next, discuss approve request to hire 3 applicants to fill vacant labor positions in the Public Works Department, contingent on successful completion of pre-employment medical exam and drug screen.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Jones, second by Councilman Beard. Discussion. All in favor of the motion? It is unanimous, no opposers. Discuss approve request to fill vacant truck driver position in the Public Works Department, contingent on successful completion of pre-employment medical exam and drug screen.
So moved.
Have a motion by Councilman Jones. Do I have a second? Second by Councilwoman Stood. Discussion. All in favor of the motion? It is unanimous, no opposers. Discuss approve request to fill vacant positions of park ground technician, contingent on successful completion of pre-employment and medical exam and drug screen.
So moved.
Have a motion by Councilman Jones. Second, that was you, Councilman Box. Second by Councilman Box. Discussion. All in favor of the motion? It is unanimous, no opposers. Discuss approve to hire, request to hire 1 maintenance technician contingent on successful completion of pre-employment medical exam and drug screen.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Councilman Jones, second by Councilman Gavin. Discussion. All in favor of the motion? It is unanimous, no opposers. Discuss approve hiring an animal control officer contingent upon a successful drug screen and pre-employment physical.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Councilman Jones. second by Councilman Gavin. Discussion, all in favor of the motion? It is unanimous, no opposers. Discuss approve always stop at Fifth Avenue South at 24th Street South.
So moved.
Have a motion by,
Mayor.
yes, sir.
Council, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Stafford. You may proceed.
Did I hear a motion? I'll sit.
All right,
Sit tight if y'all
I have a
need to
motion.
say anything.
Hold on a second. I have a motion by Councilman Gavin. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Stewart. Okay, now you can proceed.
Okay, this is just an item Councilwoman Stewart came to me with, and in the southeast quadrant of this intersection, there is a fence line and also vegetation at this home that blocks the view of northbound traffic on 24th, but right now is not required to stop. And so since the Fifth Avenue people cannot see them coming, it makes that the minimum requirement that will require an always stop based on the code we have to go by sometimes on 24th for northbound and southbound traffic to go along with what's already on it now.
Okay. Are there any questions, council? No further discussion. All in favor of the motion? It is unanimous. No opposers. Continue, Mr. Stafford. Discuss approve advertising for bids for the MDOT TAP project, Main Street and Second Street mini roundabouts.
All right, good news on the next part. We finally got word through MDOT that the TAP grant has been approved to move forward. So the contract for construction oversight has all been approved by MDOT. All of that is within the available, right now is in the available funding that was originally set up in the project. The first line of business is what they've done right now is approve us to go out and advertise for bids to obviously find out whether or not contractors agree that everything's in line with the pricing. We see this project to be hopefully within the available funding. So the first thing I need is y'all's approval to move forward with advertisements for bids. The money is at this point obligated to the city, but the city is not obligated to move forward with this project if the bids come in high. So this step tonight is strictly to advertise for bids so that we can see where the numbers come in. I'll bring those bids back to you here in probably about 45 days. We can discuss then whether to move forward.
Okay, council?
Mayor, I make a motion that we proceed with the bids.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Jones, second by Councilman Gavin. Discussion. All in favor of the motion? It is unanimous, no opposers. Continue, Mr. Stafford.
All right, last item is the engineering contract side of it. MDOT, of course, they have their own boilerplates that you have to use, and there's no reason why we would want to or be able to change them. So basically, we plugged in the hours, went back and forth with them. The actual final number is less than what was originally estimated for the project. It's $104,208.06. That is an hourly not to exceed number. So we'll work that under MDOT's normal rates, which is our audited overhead rate. So with that, they're good with that contract if y'all are willing to move forward with it. And from a budgeting standpoint, that money was set aside to cover this contract when y'all originally voted on this almost 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, roughly. And so, but this money will not be spent really until most of your next FY. So while it's in the budget for this year, it'll just continue to roll forward over to next year. So it's already budgeted and within the budget, but we would also be able to enact that contract and need y'all approval.
All right, council.
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilman Jones,
Second.
second by Councilman Box. Is there further discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion? It is unanimous, no opposers. Okay.
Thank y'all.
All right, thank you, Mr. Stafford. All right, discuss approve request to promote building permit technician clerk to the position of office manager and secretary for the various boards.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Gavin, second by Councilman Beard. Discussion. All in favor of the motion? All right, raise your hand again if you don't mind. Okay, it is unanimous, no opposers. All right. Discuss approved recommendation from March 9th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting. Mr.
Mayor,
White?
council, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good evening. I have 3 items on the agenda for your consideration this evening. First, Mayor, council, we have PC docket number 20-02 on behalf of Stephen S. Holcomb, 74 Crescent Drive. The Planning Commission recommended approval to rezone the property from R1 single-family residential to R3 multifamily residential. The finding on the fact, Mayor and Council, is there has been a significant change in the character of the neighborhood and a public need.
Okay, council? Have a motion by Councilman Mickens. Who did I get the second from? Second by Councilman Gavin. Discussion? All in favor of the motion? It is unanimous, no opposers. Continue, Mr. Weiger.
Yes, sir. Next, we have PC docket number 20-03 on behalf of Stephen S. Holcomb, 134 Crescent Drive. The Planning Commission recommended approval to rezone the property from R1 single-family residential to R3 multifamily residential. The finding on the facts on this case was there was a mistake in the original zoning.
We have a motion by Councilman Gavin. Second by Councilman Mickens. Discussion? All in favor of the motion? It is unanimous, no opposers. Continue.
Lastly, Mayor Council, we have permitted use request 20-04 on behalf of Brandon Dozier and Dallas Boutwell, 152 South McCrary Road. The Planning Commission recommended approval to allow the property to be used for a drug and alcohol rehabilitation living facility.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Mickens, second by Councilman Beard. Discussion? Yes, sir. Councilman Bob?
Mr. Weigel, what building is that?
That's, Councilman Gavin, I believe that's you. That is the old former Weigel Dental Clinic, right on the corner of Airline and South McCrary.
I know where it is, okay.
What about the fire station?
Did he answer for you, Councilman Bob? Yes, okay. All right. Okay, no further discussion. All in favor? Motion? It is unanimous, no opposers. All right.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Wiggle.
Ladies and gentlemen, rather.
Okay. All right. Discuss approved derelict property docket. What we got there? That's the one with Mr. Wilson. Kenny, Mr. Weiger.
Mayor Sasha James and I are here.
Okay. On this piece of property here, I'm assuming this is the one concerning Mr. Wade Wilson, right?
Yes, Mayor and council members, and Mr. Wilson is here as well with Ms. James and myself. I believe it's in reference, Sasha, you correct me, to 703 17th Street North.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so what is the recommendation, Mr. Weigel and Ms. James, to the council? Because I believe Mr. Wilson supposed to have came back. Mr. Wilson supposed to immediately, he's supposed to went to the and taken out a permit, and also supposed to have boarded that property. Is that not correct?
Yeah, the immediate ruling was take out a permit immediately, have it boarded within 7 days, and make significant progress within 45. A permit was not taken out immediately, and there's no evidence of any boarding whatsoever.
Okay, and you said Mr. Wilson is there?
Yeah, I'm right here. He's right here, Mayor and Council.
All right. Councilman, you want to hear what he got?
Yes.
All right, okay.
All right.
What do you have to say?
So what?
What do you have to say?
The only thing I had to say last time when they said immediately Sammy couldn't come that day because he had to go to Jackson to the hospital. But the next day I came up here
but I couldn't be issued a permit because I wasn't licensed under.
What about
So
the
now I
board?
got with Sammy, and Sammy said he gonna take care of it. They might not hear you, so talk right.
What about the boarding of the property? Why has it not been boarded? Because I think I made it clear that night that we wanted it boarded immediately.
Time Sammy get the okay, he gonna go down there and board it, cover the whole thing. That's what he told me last night. Cover the whole top and board all the windows and doors and everything.
He didn't have to have a permit to board, I don't think, did he?
Big pardon?
He don't have to have a permit or get the okay to board anything.
Don't have to have a permit?
To board up the
Not
property,
to
no.
board, okay, well, I can tell him to go and get started on it.
But, Mr. Wilson, why didn't you go ahead and board the property then the next day? We say immediately.
But I was thinking you had to have a permit for all that. I'm just finding out now I don't need no permit.
So with all the property you have as far as boarding, that you weren't aware that you needed a permit, that you didn't need a permit to board?
Well, I thought I had to get a permit for it. I'm sorry I didn't get one.
I boarded up one of his houses.
Okay. Then we had to discuss about demolishing the house, right?
Have what?
You and I had discussed about just going on demolishing the house, right? When you didn't do what you said that you was gonna do, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
so what changed that?
I'm gonna get Sammy here to do it. The only thing that happened when I was on, he supposed got a permit the next day. Sammy was in Jackson. He had to go to the doctor down there, and he couldn't make it. So I came the next day, but I couldn't get one.
Well, Mr. Reverend Hill, when I asked him about it at that time, he said the only property he knew about was the one over there on Shady Street.
So I did what?
When I asked him about was he supposed to be taking out a permit, he said that the only property he knew at that time was about the property on Shady Street. So we just constantly playing games, going back and forth concerning that house there.
What's the recommendation?
You're not playing no games.
Okay.
Sammy Hill is over there on Shady
Okay.
Street.
I
don't have.
Okay, Mr. Weigel.
He's over there on Shady Street working.
Okay, Mr. Weigel.
This on 17th Street.
Okay.
Yes, sir, Mayor.
What's your recommendation, you and Ms. James, to the mayor and the council?
Mayor Council, this house sat there for a year, and the only reason that we're even discussing this is because Ms. James sent the owner a notice. My recommendation is it's beyond repair and should be demolished.
Okay, so what's your recommendation, Ms. James?
My recommendation would be immediate abatement.
Okay, all right, council.
I make a motion that we follow the recommendation of the code enforcement.
Want to know what my recommendation is?
We gave you an opportunity to speak, Mr. Wilson. All right, we have a motion by Councilman Jones, second by Councilman Gavin. Is there further discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion? All right, it is unanimous, no opposers. All right, thank you, Mr. Wilson, Ms. James, and Mr. Weigel.
And Mayor Council, just for clarification, that was the recommendation of immediate abatement.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all.
Oh, he knows.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Mayor.
Hey, what your question was, man?
How long is it gonna take, Casey and them to get to the property? I think they ran
We'll
the
move
corner.
soon on
I think
that
they
one,
ran the
Council.
corner anyway.
Yeah, we'll move soon on it, yeah. Because they,
Asbestos sampling, I think.
yeah, they'll have to do that asbestos sampling there, yeah,
That's in the works already.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, okay. All right, that's the only one we had, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's it? All right, no further business. At this time, I entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Beard, second by Councilman Jones. Discussion, all in favor? Yes, sir. No, sir. He has some literature he gonna pass out to
I
you.
sent an
He sent an email.
I sent an
Yeah.
email giving an update, but I did bring copies of that, a string. It's work product and attorney-client, but if any council member wants to pick one up, it breaks down what's going on.
All in favor of the motion? All right, it is unanimous, no opposers. Thank you all.
Thank y'all for calling.
Can I get signatures from every council
Yeah.
member on this emergency declaration?
Yeah.